Good evening, folks. How's it going? Thanks for joining me tonight. Just another quick recap from a convention. Trying to do these every time we have one. I literally just got here off the road. We pulled in probably 15 minutes ago. We unloaded the car, and here I am. It was a long 3 days. It was just a one-day show, a 7-hour show. It happened to be the longest 7 hours of a con that I've ever done. It just seemed to drag on. Like, it was one of those super long days. And so yeah, that took a while. But I was in the car more than I was actually at the con, so that was pretty interesting. So, but I'll just go over a couple things tonight, and a couple of thoughts that I had. Won't keep everybody long, but let's say hi to the chat. We've got Mo Bigtail. What's up? Is this the soundtrack to a gay wedding reception? Yes, it is actually. I hope you like it. Speaking of which, I do have something funny to talk about there. We got 24 Eyes here. Welcome. Feel free, guys, to pop in the chat, say some stuff. If you have any questions, or just let me know you're watching. Again, this won't be long tonight. I'm pretty tired. I'm ready to jump in the shower, get the road grime off of me, and head out. So, what's up, Dell? Thank you for joining us. Yeah, it has been a long day. So yeah, we took off pretty early, and I didn't. I forgot to pack comfortable clothes for the road for the ride home. So I accidentally packed 2 polos, branded polos, and so I drove what was it, 10.5 hours today? 10.5 hours. Now, going at Friday, we wound up getting stuck in a lot of traffic, and it took 13.5 hours to get up to Bowling Green. So this week, I did a one-day show in Bowling Green, Kentucky. We were trying to test out a new market. Now, it was kind of a kill 2 birds with one stone, one stone kind of thing. I needed to meet Randy Zimmerman, my publishing partner, up about halfway, somewhere halfway for us, and he had a friend in Kentucky, so he was thinking about trying to meet there. And so it just worked out that we talked about doing the first weekend in October, and so the first weekend in October there happened to be this convention with this new group of people, this new organizer that I hadn't used before. So I thought, hey, we'll try it out. We'll see what we've got. It was the second convention they've ever had there. So even if I, didn't make any money, I just made a little bit of money, then maybe it would be worth it. So I did make gas money and things like that. But so it was in the intention of it wasn't just to be profitable. It was to try to, find some people in a new market, kind of expand the reach beyond Florida and just crowdfunding, and also meet up with Randy. And so while we were there, I met up with not only Randy, but also Justin Sweet, who lives in in Tennessee. And he drove over and spent some time with us. And we had a pretty good day. So Friday, we headed out kind of early, but we made it up there really late. So we didn't really get a chance to eat dinner or anything like that. It was just all on the road. But so we get to this convention. It is at the Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Now, I've never been to Bowling Green. I've never been through that area or anything in my whole life. All the places I've been, I've never been there. So that was pretty interesting. Yeah, with one stone, yes. Glenn Fleming is here. Hey, what's up? 4 a.m. there, huh? Really? Yeah, it's just 11 p.m. here, but I am wearing down, guys. I really am. I'm doing pretty good, Dale. It's been a long day. It's been a long day, as you'll soon hear. So yeah, we got up early. The con, there was something at the convention center. So the convention center is attached to the Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and so that was really cool. We got to see some of the Corvettes and things like that people order and are on display there until they pick them up. But when we get there, we're thinking, we We try to find the place. That we can't set up on Friday night because they had something there. So our setup time was only from 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., which I'm not normally a morning person, ever like a morning person, but we kind of had to be. So we got up early. Now Randy, he's kind of the opposite. He gets up early all the time, so it wasn't a big deal for him. But it was for me. I took my wife and my daughter with me to help me out, partly to help drive and partly to help set up and sell. And I had no idea what the altitude would do to my crappy lungs, because I knew it was going to be cold and I knew it was going to the air would be thinner, and that really did kind of wreak havoc on me. It was pretty tough. I really felt like I was short of breath the whole time I was there, but I immediately started feeling better once I started getting closer to the ocean. It's kind of funny that worked out that way. But so we get there, and we get set up. But as soon as we come in, I noticed like this convention hall is small. Like it's super, super small. Like the convention hall is about as big as my house, and maybe a little smaller. And there's not a lot of tables there, but you can kind of make the whole rounds in probably 10 or 15 minutes. You can make it through the whole thing. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not a good sign. And it's $20 for people to get in. So it's $20 to get in. There's not a whole lot of stuff there. Now they did have a couple of really neat things going on. They had the voice actress for Sailor Moon. So like the actual voice actress for Sailor Moon was there. And then they had the dude that does the voice announcement on Super Smash Brothers. He was there, and they had a Super Smash Brothers contest, so a video game contest. And if you were in the contest, you could get, he would say your name, and like on the loudspeaker or whatever. And so that was kind of neat. So you might be able to hear my wife in the background talking to the puppy. She's not a puppy, she's an old dog now. But I'll tell you about that here in a minute. So, but you could hear him say your name, and so a lot of people signed up, and there was a big crowd that came in about midday. But they all just got their name read out loud by this dude, and then they left because they didn't want to play in front of him. So, yeah, it was pretty funny. That's pretty funny. There was another convention that was promoting their convention, but they were an anime and gaming convention, and they're like, hey, you want to come set up over there? And I'm like, I'm not from here. It's like a 13-hour, 10 to 13-hour drive for me. I'm just not, I don't do well at anime conventions. It's just not something I'm interested in doing. And they kept trying to talk about it, but they were really pushing sexuality at that one. Like they had all of the different sexuality flags, and everything was rainbow themed and all kinds of stuff, which was really odd to me because conventions down here don't really push that kind of agenda. Like that's not like a thing that matters. Like nobody cares like what you're into. Like you just kind of do your thing, and whatever. It's really just about fandom and that kind of stuff. So that was interesting. That was kind of weird. The other thing I noticed is that the vendors weren't very friendly. Like I notice, mostly here in the South, is where I do the conventions, is the other vendors, they talk with each other, help each other out. They're just more friendly, but I got the sense that these were not typical con people that go around from convention to convention, that these were locals, that it was a very local thing. So that was kind of interesting. And yeah, that was fun. Now in the middle of the day we get a phone call. My dog is as you guys know, she's been walking around in the background for the last couple of days with a cone on. Well, she had been scratching and chewing at herself, and apparently, like, it had gotten really bad. My mother-in-law and my son stayed home. They took pictures of her and sent them, like, it's like, you guys got to take her to the emergency to get her looked at. And so we found out that she has this strange, spontaneous skin condition that's got her all dried out and stuff. So what we thought was like a flea reaction, she's just got some kind of weird skin rash now. So she tore herself up pretty bad. And so they gave her this giant cone and shaved her backside and some stuff like that. So it was kind of funny, but it was a little stressful there for a little bit. But we wound up getting to hang out a lot with Randy in the evening and his friend Mike. And that was a really good time. And one of the things I noticed is I learned that there's a lot that I still have to learn about this whole publishing game and comics and things like that. Now, I had read a lot of Randy's old material, but it was kind of slow at this convention. It was 7 hours. Felt like an eternity. So people just weren't coming in. I mean, it was... I made my table fee back and then some, but it wasn't like, it wasn't like super profitable. I didn't pay for the hotel and all the gas that I used, but like I said at the beginning, it didn't really matter so much. So that was pretty cool. But here, let me get to the chat here real quick. I'm gonna see what's going on with you guys here. So yeah, we've already said hi to you guys. Kim is here. Grinding out some colors right now. That is awesome, dude. Congrats on that fan art finalist. I have some things to say about ISOM, and I might say them tonight. I don't know. Depends on how the mood strikes me. I may decide to wait and do that. I will do a review and probably leave it as a channel members only kind of access, but I do have a lot of thoughts on that comic. I got it and read it, and was not blown away. Was not blown away by it. And keep in mind, I'm a Eric July fan. Like, I've been watching his YouTube for a while. I like his opinions. I'm a libertarian as well, and I kind of feel strongly about all the same stuff he does. So I really like him, but I did not feel like the book was very good. So, but the art was amazing, and some of the characters look cool in it. So I actually felt like the best part of that book was the last 4 pages or so about this metal band that are alien heroes or something like that. That interests me very much. So as soon as that book comes out, I'll buy that. But I don't think I'll buy ISOM #2. It didn't speak to me. I actually didn't care for the motivation of the main character at all. Anyway, let's get back to the chat. Luke tried to spread a biblical message by wearing a coat of many colors to the con, but combined with the big with this Boy George hat, he really gave the wrong impression. That's possible. That's very possible. I didn't take the hat. I should have, because I don't know where you are in the world, Mo. So one of these days, I'm sure you'll walk into a con and you'll be like, "Hey, Boy George," or some crap like that, and I should have the hat with me, just so that I could wear it. But hey, we're doing pretty good on the campaign right now. We're less than $500 away from 10K. And so if we hit 10K, that's a big milestone for me, huge milestone for me on the Rift Riders campaign. But then if we hit 11K, the pork pie gets burnt. So remember that. We can hit 11K, so we are less than $1,500 away from the pork pie going away forever. So you don't have to worry about it forever. Yeah. But so yeah, the convention went pretty well. Travel back today sucked. We got caught in traffic at Chattanooga of all places, and Atlanta wasn't that bad, but the rest was it was pretty slow going. It's a long trip. So you weren't not really interested in conventions, Homo. Yeah, yeah. Weebery. Yeah, there are a lot of anime things going on. Like there are characters that I have no idea who they are. Like absolutely no idea. Um, I don't even. There is a lot of Weebery, and there's a lot of furries. I was surprised at the amount of furries that were there. So maybe things are different in the north than they are down here, or maybe a small town like Bowling Green, which I didn't think Bowling Green was really a small town, but I guess in comparison to Jacksonville or Chicago or New York, other places like that, it is pretty small. But again, so that convention was all about sexuality. You know, like they really pushed that a lot. So apparently that's something that they need to tell people about. And maybe it's a bigger deal there. You know that there's that freedom to go there and I guess be gay. You know, get the freedom to be gay anywhere, as far as I know. And so there was that, and then there was tons. Pardon me. There was tons of furries there, like people just like dressed like full furry costumes, and it was a little weird. It was a little strange. I guess the regions are different. As I mostly stick around Florida and Georgia, but yeah, it was different there. So maybe it's just kind of a regional kind of cultural thing that they're like that. But there was a lot of. Now I did recognize more of the cosplay at this one than I did at the one in St. Augustine. St. Augustine had some weird ones in there, some strange, just obscure cosplays. There was one gal that was dressed up as what's her name, Sarah Kara or whatever from the blonde. Well, they're both blonde. They're white-haired girl from Witcher. She did a great job. Which is like she had this thing on her face, like the scar looked so real. I was like, man, that's some real commitment to the cosplay there. It looked like she really like sliced her face open or something. It was pretty cool, yeah. So that was neat. But yeah, some, you know, it was interesting. There was a guy there making marshmallows. So he had written a book, and he did art, and he made marshmallows. And his book, I didn't read his book, but his art was decent, but his marshmallows were amazing. So he had like Death by Chocolate, pumpkin pie, cinnamon bun, all these different kind of marshmallow flavors, and those were really good. So I got some of those. Those were pretty nice, but that was basically it. I met Justin Sweet there, who I'm doing the art for Chrome Dog for. We talked about this ISOM book. Let me talk about this for a second. I've only got a couple people watching, so this will be just be special for you guys. Okay. I didn't care for it. So I get the book. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm a fan of Eric July. I ordered the book because the way he talked about it sounded very exciting to me. He had a lot of passion about his story, and I felt that excitement, that passion from him. So that's why I ordered it. I didn't order it to stick it to the libs. I didn't order it to because I'm some simp for Eric. I simply ordered it because he sold me on it. Now, a lot of my friends and a lot of people that I knew were kind of mixed. Some people were all for it. Some people were curious about his writing abilities and and those kind of things, and because no one ever saw a finished page. We didn't see any dialogue. We didn't see anything like any of those kind of things. And I just kind of let it go, like it was, it's not a big deal. But people were right to question it because there are a few things that I noticed about the book. The first off is, and I'm going to try not to give spoilers. I'll do a full spoiler version review later and put it for channel members only for a while, maybe forever. I don't know, because I don't want to get views just because it's a hot topic, and I'm not trying to blast Eric. I tend to like the guy, even though I don't really like his behavior these days. Kind of the way he's responding to critics, even people that are fans that are kind of criticizing. He's kind of coming across as it's just kind of like the same as the SJWs do to me. A little bit, like like those types, like the Marvel and DC types, that when you criticize them, for good reason, they get all on you. I just kind of feel like I kind of feel that vibe, and I don't care for it. And I thought he was beyond that. I thought he was better than that. But maybe he's not. Maybe he's not better than that. Maybe that's exactly who he is. But I'd like to think that he's not that. I like to think that he's that he's just a little more protective right now because of the way people are being. I don't know. But anyway, so I read the book, and the first thing I notice is unnecessary splash pages. And when you get the book, you'll notice that. And it opens up with a splash page, and it's like, it's not even an exciting splash page. It's just like a city view. And maybe, I'm like, okay, I can forgive that. It's an establishing shot. He's trying to establish the city or whatever. All right, yeah, I'll read this comment. It could be that he just got done dealing with 15 SJW comments, and an honest critique happens to be the next one, but he's already in a groove. It could be, but I mean, that's all I'm seeing. Everything I'm seeing from him is kind of this arrogant, dismissive attitude. And I don't know, if I made $4 million on a comic book, on my first comic book, I might be an arrogant asshole too. But I don't know. It doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't appeal to me too much, all that attitude. But so anyway, the first thing I noticed is splash page, and it's not a very exciting one. And so, but I was like, I dismissed it. It's like, okay, it's not a big deal. So I start reading through there, and I get to this big scene, like the main time, like the main good and the main bad get together, and I start noticing some clunkiness in the dialogue, and it's awkward to me. It's like they know each other, but then they talk like they don't know each other that well. It's like, oh, well, he's a buddy of mine. Let him come on in. Well, hey, I never talked to you because you're this or whatever. And it's like, well, are you friends or are you not friends? I don't get that. It was almost like there was two ideas going on there, like an old idea and a new idea, and they both kind of got put in to that conversation at the same time, and it felt awkward and unnatural. And that was kind of a tell to me that something was going to be off. In fact, I remember I'm sitting there reading in the living room while my family's watching TV, and I go, oh. And they go, what? And I said, oh, I don't know. I said, hopefully it's not how this is going to go. Because, I have really high hopes for this. I mean, this is a huge deal. Here's this guy, he's, making a comic book, his first comic book, makes $4 million on it. It's showing that, you don't have to follow the norms and the natural ways to do things. You don't have to follow the proper channels, so to speak. You can just make a comic book and make money on it if you've got a platform. And with all the criticism that Eric gives the mainstream, I kept telling people, and I've talked about it on my shows and places I've been, that when you're that vocal of a critic, you have to come out swinging like hardcore. It's what your boy Zach had to do. You got to come out and you got to nail it, right? When you're that vocal of a critic about things, when you blast things, you've got to come out really swinging. Now, if it was just like any other dude that made his first comic book, I'd be like, okay, it's fine. That's it's okay. Well, Glenn, yeah, 4 million. He sounds like he's doing something right. Well, he's got 400,000 YouTube subscribers, and 40,000 of them bought a comic book from him. The comic book was $35 with $10 shipping, so it was $45 just to buy in for the one comic book. And a lot of people got like all of the other stuff. He had some very high tiers. So he pulled in $4 million. And so whether he's doing something right or wrong, I'm not going to say that. I'm saying the man made $4 million, and he can rest on the fact that he made a comic book, and he made $4 million, and he can never make another comic book in his life and be more successful at making comic books than I've ever been, right? So all that aside, this is not a hating on Eric thing. This is just a critique of the book that I, as a consumer, that I bought. But I noticed that was kind of clunky, and that didn't really make sense. And then there was this part where it's talking about, there's this like farm deal, and they're talking about the farm, and it felt very pandering. As a person who grew up in farmland in central Indiana, on corn farms and soy farms and pig ranches and all that kind of stuff, it felt unnatural, and it felt pandering, and it was like, that's kind of, it's like he's like, it almost felt like he was trying to connect with the flyover states, but I mean, it kind of followed that whole awkward conversation in this nightclub thing, and it just wasn't settling. It wasn't hitting right. And then there was another unnecessary splash page. So it shows Avery or Isom Avery walking down some steps. That's your splash page. Guy walking down some steps, and unnecessary. But yet later there's all these fights, and it seems like all the panels are really crammed together. That could have stood to have a splash page to show off some of that, it's kind of some of that kind of cool stuff in there. And so that was there. But my biggest gripe is this: the main character's motivation is not to save. He gets called in to do this thing, to check into this girl. That's I guess I am giving spoilers tonight. Sorry. He gets called to check into this girl that's missing. She was offered a job or whatever, and she didn't show up or whatever. So he gets called in by his sister to check into this. And rather than being concerned about this girl, he's concerned that he got dissed by this other guy. So his whole motivation this whole time is that he's gotten dissed. And for me, that didn't feel like a good motivation. It didn't make the character likable. It didn't make me want to read more about him. It didn't make me even care. And kind of the whole payoff for the 90 pages was that he got his costume. And I'm like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Like, that's only important. Like, if someone, like your character getting a costume is only important if the costume is iconic. Like Batman or Superman. And the costume is only iconic if there's history to it. Right? So there wasn't any history to it. Like this was it. We were just being introduced to this. It didn't really show off his powers too much. In fact, he got his butt handed to him quite often in it. Like he really kind of he got his butt kicked like 3 times. And so I was like, well, I kind of like a hero that has to, that doesn't have an easy time winning. I think if it's too easy, it kind of sucks. But yeah, but it really, for me, it came down to the motivation. And everything felt disjointed. There's a lot of characters that were introduced, but nothing to make me care about any of them. It felt like just a series of scenes that didn't really have any continuity to them. They really weren't. There was no real glue to them. And all of the, could have used an editor talk aside, when it comes down to it, like the main character's motivation, he's getting in these fights and he's doing these things. He puts zero prep, zero planning into it. And he says some real stupid crap about that too. And I was like, well, that's dumb. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It was one of those kind of moments when I'm like, seriously, you wrote that? Thought that was a good line? And I was like, no, that's bad, man. So I read that line. And I was like, that's stupid. And because, I don't suffer stupid stuff anymore. And I was like, that's stupid. I didn't like that. But the whole motivation was that he got dissed. And I'm like, what hero's motivation is like, you disrespected me, I'm going to fight you. I'm like, that's schoolyard kind of, mentality. And that's not, grown-ups don't think like that. We don't care. It's like Mark Brooks calling EVS out to fight. Come fight me out back. That's stupid. That's stupid. Grown men don't do that crap, I mean, a grown man's not going to worry about... If you're really that powerful, you're not going to worry about getting dissed. Because here's what I've learned. The most talented people in the room don't have to say they are. The smartest people in the room don't have to say they are. The most powerful people don't have to say they are. So it's like, if this guy is so powerful and he knows it, then why is he worried about this guy disrespecting him? I mean, I'm sure Superman, I know Superman's been disrespected. He got picked on at work. He's from Clark Kent, dorky Clark Kent. Peter Parker gets disrespected all the time. These guys, it's just not the main character. So here's the deal. I don't really care about the main character. Now, what I do care about is that metal band at the end. That was cool, right? So here at the end, there's like 4 pages of content about this thing called Norafrica. It's a band, metal band or whatever. I was more interested in those 4 pages than I was the 90 pages before. If he would have released those 4 pages on his website to say, hey, I'm selling this book, here's 4 pages, and I read those, I would have bought that book. No problem at all. Like, I would have totally paid for that book. I would have been all about it. That is interesting. So, like, if he does that book, I'll buy it. I assume he wrote those 4 pages. So if he wrote those 4 pages, then that means he's capable of writing something good. I just didn't feel like ISOM #1 was a very good first offering, to be honest with you, because especially in 90 pages, because I see a lot of people that do a whole lot more. They do a whole lot more in less pages, and they're expected to. So we don't have the platform to make $4 million on a comic book. Most of us don't anyway. And if we don't do really good, we're gonna get blasted, and we're not gonna sell much on a second issue if we don't do something good. Even the pros will give us crap if we don't do a good job. They're like, well, your book kind of sucked, I just feel like I don't think it's a, I don't know. But what do I know? I'm just a salty artist. I don't know anything. But that's just my I just didn't care for it. Now, I'll tell you what I did care for. So, Saturday, I'm sitting there, and it's kind of died down in the afternoon. Nothing going on, so my wife and daughter are covering my table, and my daughter's been pitching the book, and she's selling. Here's the thing about Two Pretty Girls. Two Pretty Girls at a convention selling your book, they're going to sell way more than this face is, right? Like, I'm not selling that many compared to those two. So they were pitching the books. They were doing fine. So they were making some money, So I sat there and I read a book. I hadn't read the book yet. It was a month 2 book that Randy wrote called Paragon. I hadn't read it. And I thought, well, I'll just sit here and I'll just read the book, right? I've read some of Randy's stuff in the past. The old Tales from the Anniverse stuff. And it's good stuff. It's solid storytelling, But I guess I didn't realize how good of a writer he was. Because, I read this story, Paragon, and I'm not going to give away, I will not spoil this one for you. Because this one was a good story. if you haven't read this book, Paragon, you should definitely read it. So, and I guess really the only way right now to get that is on the Rift Riders campaign. It's part of that Arrow tier where you can get all the number ones. It's one of the number ones on there. Paragon is beautifully written. I mean, I read this book, right? And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. There's a lot of action. There's a lot going on. And it's spelling things out. Like, it's like I'm starting to care about the characters. And I'm getting a sense of what's happening. And then at the end, he just smacks me with this twist. And the twist blew my mind. To the point where I went, what the? Like, it was like audibly. Like, I could not, I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is really good. Really good writing. The art's pretty good. It's pretty solid. Very good with like proportions and foreshortening and things like that. There's a lot of dynamics in there, but it's also very stylized. Very stylized art. It's not what you typically see, but very good. Very good. Yeah. It was good. In fact, I can't stop thinking about it. And I care about those characters. I want to know. I can't wait to get the second issue. Like, I want to know more about what's going on with that. That's how good that is. So that was that was a good story that I read this weekend. So, yeah, I didn't care much for ISOM, but I really cared for that one. And that was all done in 32 pages. That's all done in 32 pages. And here's the other thing. In the 32 pages, it told that story and then had this epilogue thing at the end where it set up other books and other things in this universe. And you realize that he's telling a much larger story that goes on and on. And I was like, dude, I'm like, yeah. I realized I still have a lot to learn about writing because that was so well done. I was like, wow, that's incredible. Yeah, how you did that. So Mo says, I think Rift Riders would do better if Luke forgot to say Star Trek and Doctor Who. You know what? It really isn't Star Trek or Doctor Who. It has some elements. It's like time and space, like Doctor Who. And it has like fun alien worlds like Star Trek. But really, it's Ferris Bueller in space. Let's be honest, guys. It's Ferris Bueller in space. So that's really what it is. Yeah. It goes about as well as Ripa said. Meteor Man and Urkel. Yeah, that wasn't very good. Luke is still salty from not being a morning person and setting up the booth. Yeah, I am. In the long drive. And not wearing comfortable clothes today. So yeah, I'm kind of in a pissy mood. As always at the start of the stream. Mornings do suck. Yes, they do. Good morning to you. Good day. Good day, Dean. Nice to see you. So I just got done ranting about ISOM. Iodine 74. Nice to see you. Yeah, I just got done ranting about ISOM number 1 and recapping what happened at Bowling Green Con. Now in 2 weeks, 2 weekends. So the 22nd, I'll be in Clarksville, Tennessee, taking the last train to Clarksville. Actually, no, I'm not taking a train. I'm going to be driving the old Flex, the old Stonemobile. I'm going to be driving the Flex up to Clarksville, and I'll hang out with Justin again for that convention. And this is the same organizers as this people that did the one in Bowling Green. If this one doesn't have more traffic at it, and it's not a bigger con, I probably won't do any more that they do. But if it is, and I can make some money, this one will be about making money, where Bowling Green was not so much about making money, but more just about meeting up with Randy and getting a bunch of copies of hybrids so that I can stock the store. This next one's about making some money. So I will be sending out this week. I should be getting the prints for the trade paperback remastered, and I'll mail those out. And so I'll have some of those at this con, as well as all the remastered floppies, single issues. So that's working out pretty good. Oh, new printer's doing really good. Really like the quality. So now I have a printer just across town. I'll be running over there and getting all my print stuff done. So yeah, that's what's going on. Yeah, why it is a little bit like Lost in Space. Yeah, it's like a campy Lost in Space kind of thing. A little bit of a like Lost in Space and Ferris Bueller's Day Off kind of thing, and it's fun. It's fun and exciting. Piper did a great job on the first script. Script is final and approved now, and art is. In fact, we just got a new page done tonight. Dillard got it over to us. Really cool. Like it. I like it a lot. And the book ends on a massive cliffhanger. You guys are gonna love it. You guys are absolutely gonna love it. And Glenn says, so another 10-hour drive to Clarksville. Yes. Then you have to drive back. Yes. I am mad. Yeah. I'm insane. Well, here's the deal. Like, I thought that we were going to be taking family up one way and back, because my in-laws were going to be spending a couple weeks in Indiana. So I thought that it would be I would take them, drop them off, and then I'll hit the convention and come home. And then I would go hit the convention, go pick them up, and come home. So I thought that's what it was going to be. Didn't work out that way. So, yeah. But it works out because I do need to get into new markets and find new readers. And so I sold some books, and hopefully they'll come back and buy even more from the website. So that's pretty nice. It's nice doing that. So anything Tennessee is better than that state up north. Yeah. Kentucky sucks. I don't like Kentucky at all. We went to this place called Doug's Motor City Cafe, I think is what it's called. The burgers were amazing. The food was pretty good. The service was so. There was a problem with one of the fries things or whatever we got. And we told the waitress, and she was like, oh, okay. Like, she didn't care. She didn't care at all. We asked for a Mr. Pibb. She acted like she never heard of Mr. Pibb. We're like, oh, well, we're from the South, so we have Mr. Pibb. And so apparently they don't have Mr. Pibb in Kentucky. But I'm pretty sure they did, because I bought Mr. Pibb at the gas station while I was in Kentucky. So I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know. Four says, have you talked to Ben at Gotham City about maybe him carrying some? I have. I actually need to get in touch with him now that everything is rebranded now. I need to get over there and talk to him and see if he wants to carry some of them, put some on the shelf for me. So yeah, Ben is a good guy. That's normally where I buy all my comics from, is from Ben. So yeah, if you're in Jacksonville, head over and see Ben at Gotham City Limit in Jacksonville, Florida. He's on Facebook. He's a great guy. He is like genuinely a really nice guy. And a lot of these shop owners are. I love a lot of these shop owners. There's a few of them out there that are they're not worth a darn. But a lot of them are really good. And Ben is at the top of the list. I also really like I got to get my books over and restock them at Mythical Mountain in the southern part of Jacksonville. And they're also in St. Augustine. They're great people. Is Luke a juggalo? I don't know about that, man. I don't know about a juggalo. I'm just a guy. Bro, I can get you buddy passes. I like buddy passes. I work for Spirit, and I'm all about to start at Delta end of the month. I would like buddy passes. Are you talking to me? Or who are you talking to? Buddy passes. Forgotten Toy Box. I will look into that. Forgotten Toy Box. I'll check that out. Maybe DM me. Go to my website, DM me, or Facebook or Twitter. You know where I'm at. DM me and let me check that out. Forgotten Toy Box. Yeah, I'll check that out too. I wouldn't call it full and Fago, but he maybe. Yep, Biden's pretty awesome, and I ordered ISOM because I read the campaign and the promo synopsis. I figured there'd be more than was in the blurb. Yeah, thank you, bub. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, there wasn't really much more than what was in the blurb. That was pretty much the whole story. I'll be honest with you, what was told could have been told in probably 20 pages. Probably 20 to 24 pages could have been done. 90 pages, I mean, should have been amazing. I mean, he could have had so much content in there. And here's the thing, I really like Eric July. I really do. Like, I like his attitude on his streams. I like his opinions a lot. I really think it's funny when he starts dissing on mainstream fandoms. I love that. Like, that is amazing. But I didn't like ISOM. I didn't like it, and I did not care. And again, all of the little things, unnecessary splash pages, odd, clunky dialogues, the main character's motivation, which was made very clear. So it was a writing choice I didn't care for. It was the main character's motivation was probably the biggest turnoff for me in the book. Now, maybe that's intentional. Maybe, I don't know what he's wanting to do with that. And it's one of those things, well, wait and see what I'm going to do. Well, no, I'm not going to wait and see, because you didn't sell me book 2. See, here's the thing. We're always arguing about this. What's most important, writing or art? And I tell people, look, you've got to have amazing art to sell the first book, but you've got to have amazing writing to sell the second one. And I bought the book because it looked pretty. I'm not buying a second one. I'm not spending $35 on a second book. I'm just not, guys. I'm not sorry. I don't have to be sorry. If you tell me I have to be sorry, then you can go be sorry. Right? That's how that works. I could be just like those guys that complain about things on the internet. I'm a salty artist. That's what I do. I complain about things on the internet. In fact, I'm probably going to start doing some ASMR videos where I just draw. You can hear it drawing on my tablet. I'll just draw. I'll draw and complain about things. And I'll be called the Salty Artist. Luke draws and complains about things. It's the draw. The art has to catch the attention of the story, and Turn has to keep it, yes. And that didn't happen, Fizzard. It did not happen. Hopefully you like it better than I do. And feel free to let me know. If you think I'm full of beans, if you read it and you're like, that book is amazing. Luke's full of beans. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Tell me. That's fine. Maybe I'm just full of beans and I don't know what I'm talking about. Or maybe I just have different tastes than you. But I didn't care for it. I felt like if I had written that and I presented that to you guys and you said, hey, that's not very good, and I respond, see, it's not just the fact that I don't think it's very good, it's how Eric has been responding to his critics. I'm just not down with that either. I'm like, that sounds very much like the, well, don't buy my book kind of attitude that we're getting from the mainstream, and I don't care for it. I just don't care for it, guys. I don't think it's right. So that's a good question, Mo. What if we don't care for the book but still think that I'm full of beans? I probably am full of beans. I won't put up any argument with that. I'm pretty sure I am full of beans. Blue says, I've had my copy for a week. I haven't read it yet. Hearing about the unnecessary splash pages sounds like a lot of inflation to the page count. Yeah, I think it was. Now, here's the thing. I think that, like I said, there was a couple of fights, and I think those warranted splash pages, but they didn't get them. That would have been way more interesting to look at than a dude walking down some stairs. I mean, it would have been really cool. Iodine says, I'd say I'm a very casual comic reader. My opinion is going to be kind of worthless. No, it's not. It's not worthless. Nobody's opinion is worthless. That's the whole point of your opinion, right? You're a consumer. If you bought it, then your opinion counts. That's what I look at. If you buy my book, your opinion counts. If you don't buy my book, then no, your opinion doesn't really count to me. Because I care about my customers. I care about the people that give me their hard-earned dollars. I feel like if I've convinced you to give me your money, then I need to earn that money. I need to earn it. I need to be working hard to tell a good story, to give the best that I've got. Now, I'm not the best artist. I know that. I'm not, probably not the best writer. I understand that. But I'm trying my best. I'm learning all the time. And I'm surrounding myself with people that do know what they're doing. Trying to learn from guys like Randy. And, got a good editor to try to not mess up and miss these opportunities. But I would never tell you guys that, oh, you're entitled to your opinion, and leave it alone, and or be disrespectful to you guys. And I just kind of feel like he's being disrespectful to people that have spent a lot of money on a book and have some criticism towards it. And so I'm like I said, I'm no simp, and people are going to think I'm a hater because I don't like the book. That's all right. I'm not a hater. I'm just salty, remember? And so yeah, that's how it's going to be. But I would never insult one of you guys that have used your hard-earned money to buy a book that I've written and drawn. If there's something that I've drawn that you're like, hey, I didn't like that. In fact, here's the deal. A lot of people that gave me money for the first arc of the comic book, of the Hybrids book series, a lot of them said they did not like the ending. And I agreed. I said, look, the ending is unsatisfying. I said, but you have to understand, and I explained to him why the ending was unsatisfying. And I said, but I promise you, the next time they encounter each other, it's gonna be a whole different situation for you. Like it's gonna be really good. So I've been working my keister off to make sure that issues 6, 7, 8, and 9 of Hybrids is awesome, like killer. And this last issue, guys, I'm almost done with it. I'm going to finish up the last of the pages tomorrow. And so hopefully the colorist will be done by the weekend. And then next week I'm going to letter this book. So I'm going to have this book ready soon. Even before launch, even before sign up, probably. Like have prints in hand. I mean, this thing, I'm telling you, the ending, it's like, this is some of the best stuff I've ever written. Like, this is good. Like, this is a really, really good book. And I'm very excited for you guys to get the conclusion of The Killing Field. It's really good. And it's I cannot wait for you guys to experience that. I really am very excited about it. And salt is from the bean consumption. It really is. It really is. So, life is about growth and learning. It pains me when people pretend to know everything. Exactly. And here's the deal. I don't expect Eric to know everything. Like, here's the thing. If he's just like, he's a first-time creator. I'm looking at it like that. It's his first book. The book shows promise. There's a lot of promise in the story and what he's trying to build. It just didn't land, It didn't land for me. And, but it does show promise. And I try to remind myself, just because he made $4 million doesn't mean that he's that he knows everything about comics. But I'm kind of getting the sense that he acts like he thinks he knows everything about comics, which is a problem for me. It's that attitude. It's just a turnoff. It's a turnoff to me. And again, maybe I'm just, I don't know. Maybe I'm full of beans. I don't know. But Let me know. Let me know what you guys think of ISOM. Let me know what you thought of it. Check out. Go by and check out the campaign and get that Paragon book. Here, check. I'm gonna put the link in here. I'm gonna put the link in here. You guys go check this book out. Go by the Indiegogo campaign, and we've got a little bit. You've got plenty of time left. And check out the Rift Riders campaign. And there is that campaign. There's that first perk, the feature perk. Feature perk has the number ones. One of the number ones in there is Paragon. That book, I'm telling you, that's a good story. That right there, that's a well-crafted story. Very good. I mean, a lot happens in 32 pages. And then you've got the book from Marv, Sin Killer. It is kind of like The Crow, but it's like, I don't want to spoil all of it for you, but it's like this priest, this like religious guy is being talked to by like some demons, and he thinks he's on a mission from God, and he starts killing people. It's it's super dark, and it's very, very entertaining. I was like, that's a good story. That one's in there. That's really good. You've got Only Death Can Save Us #1 in there. A little taste of that. Hero Bot Zero is fun. Like, it's a collection of shorter stories in there. But it's this 3-foot giant robot who fights monsters in a city. So it's kind of got a Powerpuff Girl vibe to it, but it's really, I mean, there's a lot of good books in there. So yeah, check that out. Check out that that perk, and then help us get to 10,000. We're almost at 10,000 over there. And I might be offering up some more original art from Daphne Lage. I might be getting the pencils and inks from the Daphne Lage print that we're offering. So yeah, we got a lot going on over there. Check it out. And Randy has a book called Paragon. Right? Yes. There's a guy, Ron something, has a Paragon character. Yikes. There's a lot of Paragons out there in the world. There's a lot of Paragon characters, and at least it's not like Superman or anything. And we'll see who wins out on who is published and who has the copyright and trademark first. But I'm pretty sure Randy's got it covered. I really do. The door noise in the background sounds like any. Yeah, so the door was closed, but that's all. This is my chair too. My chair will creak, and then this is my knee creaking. I'm joking. Yeah, but I get it. So all right, guys, it's 12 o'clock. It's midnight here. I'm winding down from the road, and it has been a heck of a weekend. I'm gonna try to do this after every convention. I'm gonna try to do a recap. Just kind of talk about the weekend and kind of what we experienced and kind of some of the stuff I learned. I definitely learned that higher altitudes suck for me. I definitely have to have my oxygen for those things. Here I'm still jacked up. Lungs still suck from COVID last year. I'll end with this, man. Yeah, later, dude. I'll end with this. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, man. Appreciate it. Yesterday, as of 2 minutes ago, was my dad's birthday. The 9th was my dad's birthday. And he died on the 9th last year, so he died on his birthday. He was 71 years old when he passed away. And I did not get to say goodbye to my dad because I had just woke up from my coma on the 6th, and I had to have emergency surgery on my abdomen because when they placed the feeding tube, my stomach perforated, and so they had to go in and do some pretty major surgery to save my life again. And so I was in and out, and I was scheduled to have a FaceTime chat with him. In fact, I was scheduled to have a FaceTime chat with him on the 9th, on his birthday. And he died that morning, and I never got to say goodbye to my dad. So yesterday was a rough day, on top of the driving and stuff like that. It was pretty rough. And if you guys know what it feels like to lose a parent, not be able to say goodbye, then my heart's with you tonight. But if you've got a parent, let them know you love them. Be thankful for them, even if it's rough, even if it's a rough relationship. It's still nice to have a mom and dad. But yeah, I don't know why I shared that. I just thought I would. Being honest and real with you guys. Appreciate you guys watching and hanging out with me tonight. I don't normally do these videos where it's just me on the camera by myself. But because I'm not very engaging. I'm kind of boring. 41 years, man. Yeah, I feel you, brother. Izzard says, it's a pain I'll carry forever. I didn't say goodbye to his dad either. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever get over that. In fact, back there, I'll put my finger on it. Right there. Oh, back. There, right there. There's Dad, right there. I've got his ashes in my office. So, I didn't talk to my sisters today. I should have called them. I'll call them tomorrow and see how they're doing. So, all right, guys. Have a good night. I've enjoyed chatting with you. I'm going to be back on Tuesday night with Nerdcap. And then I'm going to be back on Thursday morning with Nerd Bacon. This Thursday we've got Mike Barron. Mike Barron is going to be with us talking about Private American and hanging out with us. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely set your calendars for Thursday morning at 9 a.m. for that one. And then Tuesday night it'll be at 10 p.m. We'll be hanging out and talking about the Comic Book Boxing Federation. And so yeah, we're going to talk about who would win in a fight. We're gonna joke around and play around with that. Who would win in a fight? And so we're gonna pit our favorite artists against each other in a tongue-in-cheek, making fun of Mark Brooks kind of way, cause that's fun. It's fun to make fun of Mark Brooks. He makes it so easy. So yeah, you guys have a good night. Remember, build up more than you tear down. Leave the woodpile a little bit higher than you found it. And this has been kind of silly, so I think this is a good time for a Benny Hill outro. Have a good one, guys.